I'm Fernanda. I come from Mexico. I came here to work in MPC, a studio. So we worked in Aquaman, Detective Pikachu, Sonic the Hedgehog. Then I went to another studio to work on witches. And then I went to a TV studio to work on Monsters at Work, that Monsters Inc. TV show in Disney+. And now I'm at Sony. ¿Qué se siente que me gustes tanto amor? Que tengo que aceptar que tengo miedo de tu encanto. I think Sonic the Hedgehog, because that was the project where my supervisor trusted me the most. So that was the time where I felt more creatively trusted. And I feel like that's where I got more shots to improve my skills. But it also, like, it was a project that had all the emotions. So I felt very proud, I felt really happy, and, you know, very thankful that I had this trust and these shots. But then there was those times too where the work was so much that I felt everything. I felt depressed, I felt anguish. So that was like a project that had everything in one. And that's where I started to question, like, what am I doing? Like, why? But also seeing the other side of, like, oh, this is why. So I think Sonic was very special in that sense, that it's not just, you know, it wasn't just like all roses and pretty. Like, it had that, but it also had all these other things that I wanted to question or talk about. Like when I was at my lowest in that project, it wasn't just me. Like, the whole environment in the studio, we were all overworked. And it happens. It's not just this project, right? It happens in a lot of projects. It's called the crunch time, where everyone's just like, you know, so tired. But specifically, I was tired. It was, this season where it's rainy and gray and dark. And then personally, my partner was going through depression. In the studio, there was a lot of like mental health cases too. So it was like everything at once in that point that I felt like I was starting to go crazy. And I remember I cried in front of my supervisor. That's the first time that I cried, like, because I was just tired and I had all these things and all this baggage and all these things. And then I walked into his office and he looked at me, and I guess I looked like really tired or bad. And he was like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" And I wasn't expecting him to like ask, or I wasn't expecting that. So I came in without being prepared. And when he asked like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" I was just like no. But it wasn't about the project only. It was a lot of things together. Yeah, like I'm starting to, open up to like what do you really want to do? Because sometimes in animation I had the with the low times, when I get very uncreative and depressed. Sometimes I start questioning, like, what are you doing this for? Like, how are you changing the world, or what is the purpose of this? And sometimes it's really nice to uplift someone, to see someone laugh at your shot, or see someone enjoy a movie really much. But I would like to do something maybe that has more a direct impact. So I don't know. I think the biggest would be never stop applying, like always keep trying, because it took me 6 years of constant applying and getting rejected, applying, reject. And I think the most important thing is never stop trying, because eventually the opportunity and the timing will line up and you will get in. So never stop trying, and always keep doing something new and personal. Because sometimes when you are in the job, you forget, or you don't want to do stuff in your personal time. But that is something that is very valuable, especially in Sony. They want to see that you're doing your personal work, that you're creative in your own time, that you're good with storytelling. So always try to keep the creative spark. It's hard though, but I used to have a little folder of all my rejections, just I had so many that I thought, I'm just gonna start counting how much, because it's hard. You get rejected by a lot of studios, and it's hard on self-esteem too, because it's your work, right? It's your time. And when people are saying no, 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 then you start feeling that, they're saying no to you personally. But yeah, another tip would be never take things personally. It's never about you. It's just, that's how it is. I think that animation, I've come to realize that it's a bit of a privileged path. So I feel like I was lucky enough to have the privilege to go to school in Mexico for animation and take animation mentor. So I had the privilege to not have that challenge, but I know that if you go into animation, the biggest challenge is the resources to study it, because the classes are expensive, or if you need a lot of time to practice. So I think that is the biggest challenge that I thankfully didn't have. So besides that, the biggest challenge would be that dealing with self-esteem and rejection, especially when you're starting. And then after that, I think the biggest challenge is to remain creative, because you work so much and it takes away your hunger for creativeness a lot. So I guess, yeah, trying to keep the creative spark alive is one of the biggest challenges. I remember that the way I got into another studio was because I had worked with the supervisor before, and he recommended me. So I was thinking, yes, networking, it doesn't hurt, but it also, it's a big plus, and it can help you. And the way I was telling you was, one of my mentors said, don't think about it as networking, but think about it as building friendships. And so that's the way I see that it works the most. I have a boyfriend that, yeah, I did the count, and it's 8 years. We've been together 8 years. And we started long distance. We met online when it was still a little embarrassing to say that you met someone online. So 2013. We met in Plenty of Fish while we were in Vegas. I really love one time, because Vancouver has a lot of homeless people. I always feel like I want to do something, but I'm also scared and I don't know what to do. So one time it was raining and we saw this homeless person. I don't know if he was homeless though, but he was drunk. And it was raining, so he slipped and he fell. And I remember that me and my friends, we kept walking, because that's what we do. But Justin, my boyfriend, he didn't think twice, and he went straight to help the person to get up, which makes sense. That is the thing that you would do, right? But it clicked to me that how all these people, me and my friends, were like, oh well, this is what happens, and we kept walking, but he didn't. So that was a really sweet moment when I realized that he's someone special. And yeah, we like to do psychedelics together. On our last trip, which we don't do it very often, but on our last trip, I don't know, we were both in the same page, and it was just a timeless moment of joy and love. And he was laughing and I was laughing, and we were crying but of laughter, of joy and laughter. It sounds really bizarre, but that was one of a sweet moment that we were both living a different experience, but in the same way, and looking at each other in the same eyes of joy and love. Conspiran mis suspiros en contra de mis ganas cuando pasas y te miro. I think the biggest difference is how free people are here to say and do whatever they want without feeling guilt. Because I think back home, you're not really free to say what you're thinking, because it's not the polite way. So even if you don't want to do something, you don't want to be rude to someone, so you'll do it. So that's a lot of like where I come from, the things that you have to do. All this, you have to do this because if not, this. And here, I think that the culture is a bit more free. You don't have to do anything that you don't want to do, and you don't have to feel guilty about it, right? So I think that is like a big difference. And also at work, in Mexico or in Latin countries, you have to put a lot of your own time or stay longer at work, do more work than you're being paid for to succeed in the company, because that's what they want. They want you to be this amazing employee, and that's wrong. And here they're very mindful of your time and of your life. So I really like that difference of it's after 6, like that's it. Go home and go live your life. Oh no. I've been going through all these like concepts lately. I don't know how to put it. I don't feel proud about anything really. Because I feel like once you start feeling proud, especially in your country, then you start feeling very nationalistic. And I don't feel very good about nationalism anymore. But I don't want to say that I don't feel proud to be a Mexican. Like, I love my country. I love the people, the food, the music. I just don't know if I would use the word proud. I like my country and I love it, but I wouldn't like fight you if you say that it's a bad country, you know? It's fine. Y si te doy mi vida y no es de tu medida, amor, verás que I come from Mexico. I lived there for 26 years. Then I moved here to Vancouver to start a job as an animator. Then I started to discover new hobbies, new things. So I'm very different from who I used to be in Mexico, but still the same. Se siente que me gustes tanto, amor, que si un día tú te vas con alguien más, yo voy también.